Love, light, and blessings. This is Shamanic Arawak Priestess here, and I wanted to make a video on my Taino heritage and my Apache heritage. So my Indios, my Indian spirits, okay? And I just wanted to make a little bit of a disclaimer that Tainos are not extinct. Please do not come to my comment section. Oh, according to this and that, they don't exist anymore. That's not true. Even if you look at ancestry results from Caribbean people, Taino DNA shows up in a lot of them. Okay, well, it doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, 4, 10%. It doesn't matter. If a DNA of a person still exist in your blood, then that means those people are not extinct. They may not be pure-blooded anymore because of slavery and colonization, the displacements of people. A lot of raping went on during these times when Christopher Columbus discovered America. There was a lot of raping. These people were enslaved. These people did commit mass suicides. There was a lot of wars and things of that nature. Because in Taino culture, yes, they were a peaceful tribe, but when they discovered that these conquerors were able to die and they weren't gods like they thought they were, because they had never seen anybody so pale. They came in ships. They thought these were clouds, and things of that nature. They thought they were being punished when a lot of these things were happening. So when they found out these people were human, they started fighting back. And some of them, because they just felt like they weren't going to win this war, they decided to commit mass suicides with themselves, their children, their spouses, and things of that nature. But despite all of that, there were many Tainos that did run into the mountains, and they did have contact with the Africanos, and a lot of mixtures happened there, and they shared each other's spirituality. So you will see a lot of practices in Espiritismo that are heavily influenced by the Arawak people. Okay, so just letting you guys know that. So when my whole life, I was told that I am a Taino. My mom always had an Indian statue. She always played and paid reverence to her Indios and to her Madama. So I always saw them get their coffee and their cigars and her smoking to them, and her white altar and things of that nature. So that wasn't anything rare to me. I just thought that was part of Catholicism. So yes, the Tainos played a big part in the creation of Espiritismo. They also played a big part in Santeria. They, yes, it's an African traditional religion, but it's also infused with Taino elements because they also believed in the ancestors. There were trees that were sacred to the Tainos. When the slaves ran away and were trying to do freedom towns, because they did have freedom towns in the Caribbean, they shared recipes, they shared ideologies. A lot of the religious that the Tainos practice and the Africanos practice were very similar. They believed in one main spirit. They believed in the veneration of ancestors and things like that. They believed the spirits resided in nature. The trees were very sacred to these two indigenous populations. They did intermixes. They did intermarriages. Okay, not all did all of them get along. No, but there were those that got along and shared and infused these different. In Brazil will be candomblé and Ifa, Lucimi in different parts of the world. Voodoo also has Arawak influences on it as well. Okay, so just wanted to get that straight. When I serve the Taino spirits, when I serve the Apache spirits, I like to play music in their language. I like to pray to them in their language. I like to speak to them, even if it's a couple of little phrases or something in their language. And I venerate them, you know what I mean, on the weekend, on Ancestor Day, either a Saturday or a Sunday. I pray to them on a daily basis because the Indio is a very protective spirit. The Indio helps to bless your home. My Indian spirits help me financially, spiritual protection, protect me against those that want to do evil to me. So the Indio is a very protective spirit. The Indio came personally into my life when I really started to serve this spirit was like 5 years ago when I was shopping. My youngest one was like 1 year old, and I was going through a lot of problems. And I remember going into this antique shop, and this statue, which is like life size statue, like the one that I mainly have that houses the spirit that I work with, which I will not say his name. He is an American Indian, and he's a real person, which I never knew existed until I actually Googled him, and he is a real native activist from a certain tribe. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So anyways, before I get ahead of myself, so I saw the statue was a life-size statue. So it's like half of my body. He was just standing there, this beautiful Indian statue. It's like old looking. And I'm like, okay, but I didn't have the money because the guy was asking, I think it was like, he wanted like $60, which I kind of get it because it was a huge statue. You go to a Botanica or you go anywhere else, you're going to pay like $100, $200 for the statue, okay? So I left, but it kept bothering me, like, go back in there. And I'm like, I only have like $30 on me, and I don't get paid, I don't get paid till like Friday because I was working on the psychic line at the time and things like that. And there you get paid every 15 days. So I was like trying to search out my money. Anyways, so I'm walking away. I'm like halfway home, like a good 10, 15 minutes away from this antique shop. I walk back and I'm like, I bet you that Indian's not there, because it's like this nagging feeling that would not leave me alone. At that time, yes, I was practicing Espiritismo already, and I was working mostly with the angels. So Archangel Michael, Raphael, Uriel, the four main angels, the seven powers, so the seven angels that stand before God, things of that nature, a couple of saints here and there. But I had never really personally worked with the Indian spirits yet. And at that time, I wasn't working with, sorry, I'm just scratching the side of my face because I have like allergies. I don't know what it is about the weather. It's weird, but we're going to move on. So I went back to the store, and like I said, I wasn't heavily working with the Orishas or the Loas. I was working more with saints. So now I realize they were always there, but at the time I just called them saints, right? So I went in there, and I was like, it's probably not going to be there. And the guy was just sitting there, and I said, I really like this statue, but I can't pay what you have. You're probably going to say no, but I have like $30. He thought about it for a second. He's like, you know what? Just take it. I feel like you're supposed to have this statue, right? So my little one of my Indian spirits, he wanted to be here for the video. I love him. This is actually made by one of the local tribes that sells things when there's like fairs and things. So he's one of the Indians that is in my altar. So he wanted to be here for the video. So I wanted to introduce him. But so I went in there, gave the guy the $30, and he took the money. And he said, I feel like you should have this Indian. So I took the Indian. I didn't know what to do with it. And because I usually would just smoke a thing, pray into a statue. But this was different. Like, this Indian told me to bathe him. He's like, bathe me in honey. So I did. I bathed him in honey. And I made like a wash for him. And I just gave him a spiritual bath. And then he showed me how to do like a certain ritual for him. And I did with the statue, the big statue. And I did that. And I washed him and I prayed into him. And I put native music. So from his tribe, because he's an American Indian. And when I did all that, and I put the music, which I didn't know anything about, I knew about Taino and Indios, but I didn't know anything about American Indians, because yes, I have American Indian in me, and I learned some things, but like my great-great-great-grandmother passed away already, and so I was really little, and I didn't really know what she was teaching me, so like I didn't know much about the music, because unfortunately later in her life she converted to Christianity, so she stopped teaching me stuff. But we're gonna move on from that. So I put on the music, and it just felt like my grandma was there with me, my great-great-grandmother. And I just like got into a meditative state. I went to bed that night, and this big Indian guy in the dream comes out from the statue, like this dark shadow. And he has a beautiful headdress. And I'm like, who are you? He tells me his name. So my animal totem happens to actually be related to his name. I looked up this person because I thought I was crazy. Like, he showed me his face. He showed me this vision of him in the plains and looking down and watching these really old cars like polluting and taking over land. And he was crying. He's came to me younger that night and then older, and like all these visions of the elements. He took me to the sky and I saw like spirits going into children in all parts of the world. He was telling me that everybody's born with a guiding and guardian spirit. I mean, this was like sleeping but not sleeping, because I feel like I was in an awake state, but like in a very elevated. So I was like seeing vision. Like, he took me on a vision quest. I've had very powerful experiences with this native spirit. I've been in trance like states where I've seen myself like these entities which don't have names. I asked my daughter's boyfriend, who's Navajo, what these spirits are, and he's like, I know of these spirits in my tribe. Like, there's no way you would know about these spirits because this is very secret. The Navajos keep their stuff very secret. And he said these are spirits, some of them don't even have names. And I described these entities and he's like, that's real stuff. Like, I've seen those too. Like, I know you have American Indian in you. So that was before I even did ancestry and confirmed that. So because like I said, he's full blood Navajo. So they literally put their hands on me and he says they're initiating you. So I've had very powerful experiences with this native spirit. Like, he brings me back home. There's times that I'm channeling him and I'm crying because I could see the pain of his people and what his people's been through. The same thing with my Taino ancestors. I see things. I go back in time and I see these horrific things, but I also feel pride about how these people survived and how some of these cultural aspects you could find them in the practice of Espiritismo. So that's why I will always still practice Espiritismo, because it keeps me tied to the first inhabitants of Puerto Rico. You know, when I had all these dreams that day and throughout my journey with him, I looked him up one day to see if this is like a real person, and he is. He was an activist. So, you know, and every time I'm in danger or there's something big that I need to look out for, he shows me this totem animal comes out of nowhere. This certain type of bird is not native to this area at all. You will never see it in a suburb or city-like place. So it's very rare that it's even here. I remember my ex-husband one time, he was like, oh my God, such and such bird is outside. So I'm not going to say what bird it is. And for protective reasons. And he took a picture of it because that bird is actually very rare to be anywhere, to be honest. So basically that's what's going on with that. So when he has a message for me, he shows himself as that bird. Through him, he also helped me to embrace my African side because he introduced me personally to La Madama. Once La Madama came, once certain when the Madama came into my life, then the Orisha started coming in. Then after the Orisha started coming in, I had a dream of my Loa, and that Loa is known to montarse lo misterio, like she mounts the mysteries. She shows herself the other spirits. She brings the other spirits through because she's the mother. She's a great mother as well. And so, you know, it all started with me embracing my native side and having a personal relationship with the Arawaks, with the Tainos, you know, now with the Apache. The native spirits are very beautiful spirits, and if you have them in your spirit court, they're very protective. They help you with finances. They bless the home, and they just are beautiful, beautiful spirits. So I do revere them as I revere my Madama. I revere all aspects of that. He helps me with my shaman healings because I do perform authentic shaman healings and things like that. And he teaches me a lot. And I'm very grateful for this beautiful spirits. I remember going back to that store like 3 months after I got the statue, and the guy was saying, yes, this statue was owned by a shaman. So it like confirmed a practitioner actually owned that statue. His energy was infused in that statue. The spirit guide that I have is a shaman actually for his tribe, as well as a civil rights activist. So he was a very, very powerful person in the time that he's lived. And my daughter's boyfriend has even slept in my house before I even told him that I venerate the native spirits. he sees the Indian. He's like, I saw this big Indian just standing there. And he was like, okay. Because he doesn't like everybody. He's the man that watches my home and makes sure that if somebody's not a good person, he will scare the, excuse my language, the crap out of you if he doesn't like you. So he's a very, very protective spirit. I also have a female native spirit that I serve as well. She did not want to come out on the camera, so I didn't take her statue out. But yes, I do serve a female spirit as well. And she's very beautiful. She helps me with my divination. She helps me with my healing, as does the Madama as well. So hopefully you liked this video and hopefully you guys found this informative. If you would ever like to do a spiritual investigation about who's in your spirit court, what spirits want you to serve them and work with you on this life path and this journey, or what path, spiritual path is for you, I do those types of reading as well, and I do provide mentorship as well. So shamanic.priestess.com, and you can book a consultation with me and we can work on those things as well. And if you ever want a shamanic healing, so that kind of healing or healing through the ancestors, I provide those services and rituals and things like that as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, please subscribe, and please comment below, because this is encouraging me. All the feedback I've been getting lately on my videos and all the so many people watching them right when I post them and things like that is actually what's been encouraging me lately to post more videos. So the more likes, the more subscriptions, and the more comments that you guys make, the more I'm going to try to post as many videos as possible, because that keeps me going and that encourages me to keep making videos. So love, light, and many blessings. And I'm going to be making soon a Book of Shadows video. So I'm actually very excited about that. Bye, guys. Love you. Bye.